Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Diane and today we're starting on our new series of paintings which will be perfect for Christmas cards and little gifts this holiday season. We're beginning with a beautiful pair of red cardinals, so let's get started. So today I'm going to talk for a minute or two about this contraption here, which is a light, what we used to call a light box, but it's really a light screen. It's a digital thing with LED lights inside it. And it's about the size of an A4 sheet of paper, such as this one here. And what you use it for is for tracing. And what I use it for particularly is for composing the picture in a way which gives me a chance to vary it a little bit. Now here, I've got a drawing that I did from a photograph of two red cardinals, a male and a female. And that was the way the photograph was arranged. But I don't want to paint it quite like that. And I was thinking that I would do a slightly different arrangement. So what I do is I take this picture, I set it on the light box there, and then I take a piece of tracing paper or regular paper or whatever, and I trace one of the birds and then I trace the other one until I've got an arrangement that I like. So I've come up with this arrangement now with the birds sitting on the same, more or less on the same branch, and I've noticed I've made a mistake there because that's the tail and that's the branch. So that's the other advantage. You can correct things as you go along. So that's what I've got now, and then what I'll do then is trace onto my actual sheet of watercolour paper here by again putting the tracing, the new one, on the light box, and then the watercolour paper on top. And I'm not sure if you can see, yes you can see that. It's perfectly clear and you can see exactly what you're doing. And that saves an awful lot of time. I did a very careful drawing in the first place in my sketchpad because I was trying to make sure I got it right. I think if you're going to paint loosely, you do need to actually have an accurate drawing to start with. Otherwise you end up with a mess. So that's, well, anyway, that's the way I work. I like to have a good understanding of the size of the beak versus the head and so on, and just as best I can. And then once I've got that, I can loosen up and move away from that position, knowing where I'm headed, so to speak. So that's what I use this little light box for, and I find that really helpful. So I've got my two cardinals here drawn out now in an arrangement on this piece of paper that I'm reasonably happy with. And the first thing to do before I start painting this is, of course, to decide on the colours. So I've kind of looked at some photos of these birds and of other paintings that people have done, and I've just tried out some colour combinations here just to see what's going to work. And so this is just my tryout for colour mixing. And here, for the female, what I've decided to do is to use Naples yellow mixed and apply it in a loose wash using Potter's pink for the warmer parts of her. And then for her tail, it's obviously going into the browns. So we're going to use, I'm tossing up at the moment between sepia, which I've got here, and this is raw umber. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but I've also got some black and some Payne's grey, so I might darken it down a bit with that. Also, there's a little bit of red in her tail as well, I think, or at least pink. So that's for her. And the male, of course, is Cardinal red. So we'll have as our basis this bright red here, which is like, I'm not quite sure exactly what this is. I think it's called bright red. So we'll go with that, shall we? And to make the darker areas on there, we'll use Winsor Violet, which is a nice purple colour, and of course the black for the masks on both of them, which is much less noticeable on the female than it is on the male. Then we've got some berries and some pine needles on the sketch, So again, the same red and perhaps olive green for the leaves, and one of these browns as well for the twigs. So that's where we're going to go with that. So I'm just going to put my colour sketch away. And I'm going to tape this down with some washi tape. The brushes I'm going to be using, I've got a number 7 round nylon brush here. This is a DRAWELL brush from Japan. And this is a ProArt Proline filbert, which is quite nice. And I think that might be quite nice to do the washes for the birds' bodies. And I've got a rigger here, which probably use that for the needles on the pine leaves, and perhaps for the eye, although I might get away with just an ordinary round for that, so we'll see. So let's just quickly tape this down, just to keep it in position really, because we're not going to be using an awful lot of water, so it's not going to be a matter of trying to stop it from stretching. That wouldn't work in any case. So this is just to hold it down. Stop it moving around. Okay. Just grab my clean water, bring that over here. I'm working on a sheet of Arches paper here from a pad. A pad of 9 by, I think it's 9 by 12. Yeah, 140 pound watercolour paper. So we will see how that goes. I think I should sit down. So let's start by dropping in. I'm not familiar with this paper, so this is going to be another one of those, oh my God, episodes possibly. We'll see. So we'll just drop in some Naples yellow and some Potter's pink. And we'll take that up around the head and also up into the crest area, and we'll just put a little bit pink in there. And then she's got a fairly warm sort of brown wing. So we'll do that with this colour, which is raw umber. And then maybe drop in a bit more dark with the sepia. And that we want that to spread out, don't we? And then she's got kind of light grey legs, I think I could say. So we'll just drop a little bit of Payne's grey in there. And then the trick I like to use for making shadow on something like a bird's leg is just to first of all put the base colour in and then come in with the darker and just the tip of the brush and just do some shadow there. And then also if you just drop a little bit here near to the body, you'll get a nice little bleed back into the body there. And then for the beak, the beak is light pink, so we might as well go for a little bit of red and a bit of potter's pink, I think. I'm going to keep that fairly unobtrusive there. Put her eye in, and there we are, she's pretty much done. Maybe we'll just darken down the underside of her beak a little bit. And then I'm going to switch back to the filbert for the male. And we'll start off with the bright red. He's more or less the same colour all over, except for his mask. And he's got some blue colour in his back, so we'll do that with purple, I think. Just pop some of that in there. And then back to the red for the tips of his wings. And then I suppose we should probably keep his breast fairly clean red. And a bit of purple at the end of his tail there. It depends how it dries up. We might want to put some more red on there just to reinforce it. We'll just see how that goes. But then the mask. And for him it's much more defined, much stronger, much darker than in the female. We will have to let that dry before we can do the beak, otherwise we'll end up with a muddy beak. But this paper is absorbing the water pretty quickly. His legs have got in this particular photo anyway, his legs are grey with a little bit of a pink tint, so we'll do the same thing. You just put them in with grey first of all, and then I'll come back in with an accent colour for the shadow, which we'll do in, I think, Potter's Pink. And that's the colour we want for the beak too, I think. So we do that. Yeah, and so oops. Really is a very bright bird. And then we want some black or Payne's grey for the eye. Okay, now it's time for the branches. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep these really simple because we don't want the colours to compete with the birds. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do them in a light grey, very light grey. So wet them first. It's just one way. You don't have to do them this way. You can do them whatever way you like, but I quite like this way. And then come along just at the bottom edge. That way you get the shadow and you just get something to indicate the solidity. Of the tree that the bird is standing on. And then for the berries, I think what I normally do is to paint in the berry, leave a dot for the light, and then come back with Winsor Violet. For the shadow and just drop that in and let that run. And obviously you can save yourself a little bit of paint if you do all of them at once, but you have to work reasonably quickly, otherwise they will have dried. So then having done that bit, you come back with the purple. Just a touch, just a touch. Just a little tiny touch, and then that will bleed and give you a nice effect. And then last thing, we're on to the pine. So I could use my rigger, but I'm happy with this. This brush does nice fine, it's quite a new brush, so it does nice fine lines, so that's okay. So we just pop some of those in. So there we are. And, you know, you look at it at this point and you say to yourself, oh, maybe just one or two little sharpnesses might. So like I often go back and I just put a little point on their toenails there, or maybe make the eye a little bit bigger, or perhaps a little mark on the beak. You don't want to do too much though, because the beauty of this is the freshness. Try to keep it fresh if you possibly can. Don't forget the stalks of the berries. So at this point, I'm going to let it dry and come back and see if it needs anything else, like, for example, a little bit of snow or something like that. So we just leave that for a tick, come back when it's dry. So it's dry now, and I'm just going to rub out some, if not all, of the pencil lines. Some of them are quite nice to keep. For example, the lines in the branches, I'm not going to get rid of those, but I think probably the ones in the pine needles should go, and any sort of superfluous lines around the outside edges of the birds can probably go. But it is kind of up to you. Some people don't take away any of the pencil. Some people try to get rid of it religiously. I think I fall somewhere between the two. I like some of the lines to stay, some of them I like them gone. So you just do what you feel is best. So there we are. I think that's pretty much cleaned up. I quite like this shaving brush for getting rid of the rubbing outs. It's really rather good. Saves rubbing your hands all over it and making it greasy. So at this point, you know, you have to sort of decide various things like, am I going to do any spatter on here? Does it need it? Would it spoil it? Should I add a little bit to the leaves? Ditto. Does it need it? Would it spoil it? And I think on the whole, I'm reasonably sure that this is pretty much more or less where I want it to be. I'm going to add a little bit more red to the head of the male bird. Tiny bit more in the breast. Maybe just increase the red there a little bit. But there's definitely a danger of going too far. So I'm going to remove the tape. See what it looks like without this gaudy surround. So there we are, one pair of red cardinals, male and female, on a tree, made up, and quite fun. So that's a lovely start for a Christmas card, I think. I hope you enjoyed watching me do this, and I hope you give it a go. If you did enjoy it, would you please give us a like and subscribe to the channel? That would be great. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that you always know when a new video is going up. And if you'd like a little bit more, you might want to consider joining the channel membership. And just go to the channel homepage and have a look there where it says join, and you can find out all about what we offer to people who want to become part of our little family. Also, have a look on the website dianeantone.com, where you will find sketches to all of the paintings we've done over the last year or so, including this one, of course, which will be up by the time this video goes up. And you can download all of those absolutely free of charge, no cost to you. Take a look while you're there at our blog and all the things that we have on the website for your pleasure. So with that, I will say goodbye, and I'll see you again soon. So bye-bye everybody, happy painting, bye-bye.